Actually going to kick off the stories this week with a big launch announcement. That would be from our friends over at HPE because they have launched their latest generation of servers. This would be the 11th generation of hardware, and it's focused on a whole lot of hot workloads. You know, some of your old favorites like AI, cloud native apps, virtualization, and a lot of other cool stuff. One of the big features that they are touting in this release is the fact that they're going to be using their ILO remote management system to verify and authenticate all hardware in the system through a secured root of trust to try to alleviate some of those supply chain attacks that we've been hearing about in the news. There's also another little note in the release, which we've linked in the show notes, that I thought was really interesting. If you're going to order a Gen 11 server, you can choose from AMD EPYC as well as Ampere. If you'll notice in that drop-down list, there was one notable name missing. You cannot order a Gen 11 system with an Intel CPU today, as of the recording of this episode. Stephen, we've been following a lot of the things that have been going on in the server space, specifically around the release of new hardware. Is AMD and Ampere able to capitalize on the fact that Sapphire Rapids hasn't shipped yet by partnering with companies like HPE to bring these new servers to market now?
Well, first of all, let's zoom in on what this means. Yeah, sorry, HPE. We're going to talk about Intel and AMD here for a minute. So the Gen 11 server announcement was notable to me in that it specifically says that it's going to be available with the 4th generation AMD EPYC and Intel 4th generation Xeon processors, which is notable because neither of those have been announced yet. In fact, I'm not sure what happened here, but literally HPE is pre-announcing 2 chips that haven't been announced yet for 2 of the biggest chip companies in the world. And specifically, if you read the news release, it says that the AMD EPYC 4th generation chips, codenamed Genoa, are going to be available November 10th. Well, that's interesting. We haven't heard that yet. I guess they're going to be announced tomorrow. We'll see. So AMD is there with their next generation EPYC, and HPE ProLiant Gen 11 is going to use them. I imagine that Dell and Lenovo are going to be right there too, and as well as all the other brands making enterprise servers. Intel Sapphire Rapids, it is mentioned in here. They say the 4th generation Xeon is going to be a part of the platform. I guess they weren't ready to break the embargo on Intel's release date, but hint, it sounds like it's coming real soon. The Ampere one is interesting as well. So we've seen a little bit of Ampere here. We've covered this on the rundown. Again, these are wonderful server systems that use the ARM CPU cores under license. They have really, really been tremendous. I will point out that they're not just using the Ampere Ultra, they're using the Ultra Max, which is the new many core Ampere platform, which again is really cool to see. Now that's not going to be available across the line. It's not going to be available in like every HPE server. They're making a server, as far as I can read here, the RL300 with the Ultra and Ultra Max, which is cool. And that is, of course, a follow-on to another HPE Ultra-based server that they had previously. So Gen 11 ProLiant is here. Those of us in the server industry just love this hardware platform. I have a Gen 10 server running here in the office as a file server. It's really well designed. They're really, really solid. ILO is great. Looking forward to seeing ILO 6. I will point out too, as you mentioned, they've got a TPM, Trusted Platform module in there to verify in system state and secure boot. Another thing they're doing here is a couple of years ago, they announced a trusted supply chain initiative, which would basically allow more sensitive customers to make sure that the server components were supplied by trusted partners and perhaps even manufactured in specific locations. That's being extended as well to this new generation of ProLiant. And I think that also tells us a little bit about HPE's customer base, that they value that. Now, you can only go so much with that, of course, because a lot of components are sourced globally. But frankly, HPE is making an effort here to make sure that things are supplied from trusted suppliers and that aren't compromised in the supply chain. And that's really great. Of course, there's a GreenLake angle as well, as we expect. I mean, GreenLake is the leading pay-as-you-go consumption model out there for enterprise servers. And I'm not surprised to see that you'll be able to buy these things as GreenLake. But overall, I've got to say, it's a great announcement. It's the kind of announcement that we would have been just bowled over a bit with before the advent of, well, everything else that's going in enterprise tech. But I think that HPE deserves a pat on the back for doing a nice job revving the already impressive ProLiant servers. And as for Sapphire Rapids, I don't have any embargoes to break either, but I will say, if HPE is saying they're going to be available in this platform, I bet they're coming real soon. So we'll see.